civilization began. It started when the people of the Middle East invented agriculture about 11,000 years ago. Later, a civilization called Sumer developed in the Mesopotamia, now part of Iraq. By about 4000 BC, some of Sumerian farming villages were becoming the first cities. Over time, important parts of Sumerian culture, such as farming, city building, and writing, spread to the rest of Mesopotamia and to Egypt and beyond. Everything in Europe could be traced back to the beginnings in Sumer. Civilizations in America, said the historians, began in Mesoamerica, the region that includes Mexico and Central America, about 3,000 to 3,500 years ago. This meant that American civilization began about the time that the first organized states were taking shape in China. But it was much younger than Middle Eastern civilization. At least that's what the experts thought. However, since the 1990s, a series of astonishing discoveries on the coast of South America has given us a new view of the birth of American civilization. 5,000 years ago, there were only a handful of cities in the world. The biggest urban center of all might have been a cluster of small cities in Peru. A strange desert. The high, rugged Andes Mountains run along the coast of South America, like the bony spine of continent-sized sleeping dinosaur. Farther west is the Pacific Ocean. Sandwiched between the two is a long, narrow, gray-brown strip of desert. This dry region is the coast of Peru. To the south, the desert stretches into the coast of Chile, Peru's neighbor. It is called the Atacama Desert, and it is the driest place on Earth. In some parts of this desert, rain has never been known to fall. When space scientists need a place that's as much like the sands of Mars as possible, they go to the Atacama. As much Peru's coastal deserts is not quite as dry as the Atacama. It gets about 2 inches, 5 centimeters of water each year, mostly in the form of fog. On winter mornings, the cold ocean air along the coast fills with moistened fog, banks that roll into the valleys and linger for hours before they melt away. The coast of Peru is not a desert like the Sahara, though within the sand dunes and scorching sun, more than 50 rivers plunge down from the Andes, cutting through the coastal desert on their way to the Pacific. Lined with vegetation, these rivers are long green oases in the almost lifeless land. Archaeologists who study ancient people and civilizations have recently found traces of some of the first people to live in Peru's coastal deserts. These early inhabitants dug up wedge clams and chased schools of 6-inch drumfish with the nets of the beach. They then carried the food and land to their base. Signs of the presence on the land date from before 10,000 BC or 12,000 years ago. By 8,000 BC, people lived throughout the West and South America. Modern historians call these early American Paleo-Indians, from the Greek word paleo, which means old. Some Paleo-Indians lived on the coast of Peru, and their ancestors had done weaving nets to catch fish. Others plucked fish from mangrove swamps or settled in the mountain caves and lived by scaring deer-sized animals called vicuana on spears. Let me rewind that. Strip. Nope. And you get the vicuña on spears. We know very little about these beliefs and customs of these early people. Archaeologists must try to piece together a picture of things they left behind, such as the words first mummies. The Chinchorro people lived in the Atacama Desert. Sometimes before 5000 BC, they began to mummify the bodies of children and later adults. The process was somewhat gruesome. Beep. Then they last touched. Oh wait, never mind. I skipped a line. Then they covered the body with white clay and painted it to look like the dead person. As a last touch, they gave each mummy a wig made of his or her own hair. These mummies were repainted often, which probably means that they were kept on display perhaps for years. Nobody knows what they made. The Chinchorro began to mummify their dead, but the practice is the first signs of a belief that other Indian civilizations around the Andes Mountains would later share. All of them honored and preserved their dead. The trouble without tapeworms. The skill of the ancient Chinchorro mummy makers, together with the dry climate of the Atacama Desert, preserved the dead bodies so well that the modern scientists have been able to get DNA from them. Scientists investigating the mummies have discovered that the Chinchorro were infected by parasites from raw seafood. These were marine tapeworms attached themselves to a person's intestines and can grow to lengths about 16 feet. Their victims get sick and eventually die. No wonder some of the child mummies of Chinchorro show signs of fatal illness. Anyway, thank you. I am David Spielberg. I totally did not just make that name up, as I am being interviewed by this man named Billy Joe right in front of me. But yes, all of this that I have told you is true. Coming from my archaeologist history of investigating this area. The Americas of 1941. Never mind, I messed that up so much. Let me say that again, because, I don't know. Yeah, but hopefully this show is still put on the, yeah. So, thank you for interviewing me about the Americas of 1491 with Dave Spielberg. Yeah, that is totally my name.